On the first day of our marriage, my sister-in-law suddenly threw my luggage out of the main bedroom and into the living room. The main bedroom is mine. Who said you could take it? I just stared at my bags, stunned. Sis, this is literally supposed to be our newlywed room. Her eyes instantly welled up as she looked at my mother-in-law. Mom, so once I get married, I don't get a room here anymore? Now that you have a daughter-in-law, you don't need your daughter? My mother-in-law hugged her and started crying. My father-in-law slammed his palm on the coffee table. Nonsense! This will always be your home, and the main bedroom will always be yours. We only lent it to them for the wedding for a few days. I was about to lose it, and my sister-in-law kept piling on. The newlywed room isn't yours alone. If you want a bigger room, go ask your own mom to buy you one. I grabbed my luggage and headed for the door. It's not like I had nowhere else to go. Why should I stay here and take this nonsense? The second my mother-in-law realized I was actually leaving, she rushed over to stop me. Xiaoji, why are you so hot-tempered? It's your first day of marriage and you're already storming out. I almost laughed. Somehow this had turned into me running away from home? Li Shuing kept calling out, Mom! She's just trying to scare you. She married far from home and has no family nearby. Where could she even go? My mother-in-law visibly relaxed after hearing that. Xiaoji, be reasonable. Your sister has always lived here. You can't marry into the family and immediately kick her out, right? Fine. They actually wanted to talk about what's reasonable, so I decided to spell it out for them. Mom, before the wedding, you kept telling me this was our newlywed home, right? What newlywed couple has the husband's married sister living in the main bedroom? Li Shuing's tears stopped on command. And who says an older sister can't live in the main bedroom? Why do you get the biggest room just because you married in? Why should I have to move out for you? I didn't care about her logic. From the engagement all the way to the wedding, they insisted this was our newlywed home. But the wedding had barely ended and they were already fighting me for the bedroom. There was no way I was agreeing to that. Then Li Shuying dragged the brand new red wedding bedding out of the main bedroom and dumped it on the couch. Take this and get out. You sat on my bed today and now it feels filthy. I'm going to have to disinfect the whole thing. That made it even more ridiculous. When they brought me home after the wedding, they took me straight to the main bedroom. Clearly that was just for show. So they did know how embarrassing this looked. My mother-in-law pretended to scold Li Shuying. How could you throw your sister-in-law's bedding on the couch? We already prepared another room for her. Go make the bed and act like the older sister here. Li Shuying glared at me, then reluctantly carried my bedding into the smallest room in the apartment, the study. Only then did I notice the once empty study now had a 1.2-meter single bed and a cheap fabric wardrobe beside it. Li Shuying tossed the bedding onto the bed. This is your room with Li Xingliang now. My head was about to explode. 2 grown adults on a 1.2-meter single bed, and she acted like that was completely normal. What's the problem? Just cuddle closer. It'll bring you 2 closer, and maybe give mom a grandson sooner. Sometimes when you're completely speechless, all you can do is laugh. I immediately called Li Xingliang, who had gone out to see off some friends. 10 minutes later, he came back. He stared at the tiny bed and looked just as confused as I was. Sis, didn't you say this room was for Chenchen? How did it suddenly become Xiaoji's in my room? Chenchen was Li Shuying's 8-year-old son. She crossed her arms. When did I ever say this was Chenchen's room? He's 8 and has piles of homework every day. He needs a big desk. Could one even fit in a room this small? Your 8-year-old son can't fit in here, but you expect 2 adults to? Sis, that's way too much. Li Shuying stomped her foot and grabbed my father-in-law's arm. Dad, you have to stand up for me. Look at Xiao Yang and his wife. They're almost 60 combined, and they're fighting an 8-year-old over a room. How shameless is that? My father-in-law took a long drag from his cigarette, patted Li Shuying's hand, then looked up at me and Li Xingliang. Enough. This is my house. I'm not dead yet, so you don't get to make the rules. Listen carefully. My house, my family, my rules. He took another hard drag, then looked straight at me. Xiaoji, in this family, we raised our son tough and treated our daughter like a princess. I don't play favorites based on gender. Don't think marrying Xiao Liang means you get to bully my daughter. Not happening. Before you married in, the biggest room was always Shuying's. You can't show up and kick her out. That's not reasonable. Exactly, my mother-in-law chimed in. Li Xingliang wasn't convinced. But there are 4 rooms. You can't seriously expect us to live in the tiniest study. And by your logic, Chenchen is a son too. So why does he get a bigger room than we do? Li Shuying started crying again. Unbelievable. You're seriously fighting a child for his room? What kind of aunt and uncle do that? Mom, Dad, fine, I'll leave. Clearly they can't stand having their married sister around. I'll go now. And when you're old, don't expect me to take care of you. Go live with your daughter-in-law. What a performance. The tears came right on cue. My mother-in-law hugged her again and they both started sobbing. It's all my fault. I couldn't even find your brother a reasonable wife. My poor daughter, you've suffered so much. Oh, so now I'm the unreasonable one. I was done watching their little drama and looked at Li Xingliang. I'm not staying in this tiny study. Are you coming with me or not? Before he could answer, Li Shuying suddenly swung a slap at me. What is wrong with you? You're leaving on your own and now you want to drag my brother away to threaten us? Please. He's my brother and my parents' son. You really think he's only going to listen to you? She wasn't wrong about that. But he was also my husband. The man who swore before marriage he'd protect me for life. I stared him down. Are you coming or not? Forget the bedroom. I'll leave this whole house to them. Just tell me. Are you leaving with me? Li Xingliang looked at me guiltily but didn't say a word. My heart went completely cold. Colder than when Li Shuying kicked me out of the bedroom. Colder than when all three of them ganged up on me. I fought back tears and asked one last time. They can keep the house. I don't want anything. Are you coming with me or not? He still let me down. Li Xingliang stayed silent. Li Shuying gave my suitcase a hard kick. Xiaoji, you have no reason to be mad. My parents are good to me and my brother is good to me. That's because our family knows how to treat each other. Like I said, if you want a big bedroom, ask your own mother to buy you one. If your family can't afford it, why are you trying to take mine? Li Xingliang reached for my hand. Honey, I know you're upset, but my sister does have a point. Why don't you call your parents and ask them for a few 100,000 yuan? We can buy our own place and move out right away. How about that? Wow, just wow. I looked Li Xingliang up and down. I've known you for 3 years, and today is the first time I realized you could be this shameless. He didn't get angry, but Li Shuying did. Who are you calling shameless? What did my brother say that's wrong? If your own family can't back you up, then keep your head down in your husband's family and know your place. I'd had enough. I slapped her right back. Who says I have no backing? Fine, sit down. Let me show all of you exactly what I have behind me. After slapping her, I sat down on the couch. I'm not leaving anymore. Li Shuying completely lost it. You actually hit me? You're an outsider in my home and you dared to hit me. She covered her face and looked at my in-laws. Mom, Dad, did you see that? She hit me. You have to get her back for me. She reached toward me while yelling, so I shoved her away with my foot and she stumbled into the coffee table. Now she was really furious. My mother-in-law started wailing and my father-in-law rolled up his sleeves like he was going to come at me. I put a hand on my stomach and asked Li Xingliang, "Do you still want the baby I'm carrying?" Li Xingliang snapped out of it and stepped in front of me. "Dad, stop. You can't hit her. Xiaoji's pregnant. I hadn't had a chance to tell you yet." My father-in-law finally lowered his hand, but Li Shuying rushed at me again. "So what if you're pregnant? Plenty of women get pregnant and have babies. Don't think that gives you the right to control us. Pregnant before marriage and still acting proud of it." Li Xingliang and I had legally registered our marriage a month earlier. We only held the wedding now, but in her mouth that somehow became pregnant before marriage. She yanked Li Xingliang aside by the hand. Just as she moved toward my stomach, I threw a teacup down by her foot. "Take one more step toward me and you're going to regret it." Maybe I looked too serious because my mother-in-law immediately pulled Li Shuying behind her. "Xiaoji, how can you behave like this? No matter what, she's still your older sister." My father-in-law's face darkened too. "This is outrageous, completely outrageous! Don't think being pregnant means you can threaten me. Chenchen is my grandson too. Whether you have this baby or not makes no difference to us." I was done arguing with them. I asked Li Xingliang one question. Who paid for this apartment? He looked down and stayed silent, but I knew the answer. "You put in 150,000 yuan. I put in 150,000. That's 300,000 yuan for the down payment, and after marriage, we're paying the mortgage together. Correct?" He nodded. "Yeah. Then if you and I paid for it and it's our marital home, why are your parents and your sister all moving in? How is this still our home?" Before he could answer, Li Shuying jumped in. "It is your marital home. That doesn't mean it's yours alone." That's hilarious. None of you paid a cent. So why do you get to move in and take my main bedroom? Who exactly is shameless here? My mother-in-law knew she had no argument and quietly stepped back. My father-in-law slammed the ashtray down near my feet. "What kind of garbage are you talking? You think Li Xingliang's money isn't our money? We're family. Do you know how much we spent putting him through college? So whatever he paid counts as money from the Li family. Of course we have every right to live here. And to pay for your wedding and the bride price, we sold our old house back home and borrowed money everywhere. If we don't live here, where are we supposed to go?" This was getting absurd. We had the simplest wedding possible. 800 yen per table, only 5 tables total. The bride price was 38,000 yen, and I brought back a 68,000 yuan dowry. That little money supposedly forced them to sell their old house and borrow everywhere? I asked Li Xingliang, "Is that true?" He still kept his head down. "Honey, my parents are just ordinary, honest people. To help me marry you, they really emptied their savings. They genuinely have nowhere else to live now. I'm not lying to you." I couldn't believe it. 2 people under 50, both with steady jobs, had sold the only house they'd owned and somehow had less than 100,000 yuan left. Where did all their money go? The more they talked, the colder I felt, and the more scared I got. It was literally my first day in this family, and they were already blaming everything on me. They sold their house because we got married. They had nowhere to live because we got married. They were broke and in debt because we got married. Nope, I'm not taking the blame for that. Absolutely not. I looked at Li Xingliang. "Sell this apartment. We divorce immediately, split the money, and go our separate ways. After that, don't contact me again." Li Xingliang panicked. "No divorce? We just got married and you're pregnant. Why are you talking about divorce?" "Honey, don't say things just because you're angry." I wasn't saying it out of anger, I was genuinely scared. This family looked like a bunch of people ready to drain me dry. Li Shuying grabbed Li Xingliang by the collar. "You're useless. You get married once and suddenly the whole family is broken in chaos. When I got married, Mom and Dad gave me a 380,000 yuan dowry. She brought only 68,000 yuan, and you still insisted on marrying her. What a terrible deal." Oh, now I finally understood. They'd given Li Shuying that huge dowry. No wonder they kept insisting they had no money when we discussed the bride price. I wasn't jealous of Li Shuying at all, but they couldn't spend all that money on her, then turn around and say marrying me was what emptied the family savings. My mother-in-law got nervous when she heard me say divorce. You can't throw around the word divorce? Xiaoji, you've been married one day. What will people say if you split up now? Why should I care what people say? All I know is I need to get out of a family that keeps dumping every problem on me. Li Shuying, on the other hand, looked thrilled. Mom, what are you scared of? Xiaoliang's a man. If he divorces, he can find someone else easily. Maybe someone with a dowry as big as mine. But she's pregnant. If she gets divorced now, she'll come with baggage and nobody will want her. If she's brave enough to divorce, why should Xiaoliang be scared? Do it. Go get divorced right now. She grabbed Li Xingliang and tried to drag him toward the door, but this time he didn't go along with her. Instead, he stood in front of me. Honey, calm down. I'll switch the rooms back, okay? You can have the main bedroom. This is your home. You can sleep in whichever room you want. I don't agree. I don't even want that main bedroom anymore. But if I can't have it, none of you are getting it either. I got up, grabbed a huge trash bag, walked into the main bedroom, and started throwing everything I saw into it. They all followed me in. Li Shuying screamed, "Are you crazy? Why are you throwing away my stuff? My clothes, my handbags, my makeup. What gives you the right to touch any of it? Because this apartment is mine. That's what gives me the right." She completely lost it. This is the Li family's home. Get out. Get out right now. She kept pushing, so I swept the bottles and jars off the vanity toward her, then pulled out the property deed. Look carefully, really look. Whose name is on this deed? Do you see the name Li Shuying anywhere? Even one character of your name? She didn't even look. I don't care whose name is on it. It's the Li family's property, and what's the Li family's is mine. You will never have the right to kick me out. Except I was kicking her out. I stuffed all her things into trash bags, threw them outside the front door, and said, "Get out." Now I'm the one telling you to leave. She clutched the trash bags and started screaming. Mom! Dad! Are you seeing this? This is how I'm being treated in my own parents' home. What did you promise me before? You said no matter who Li Xingliang married, the main bedroom here would always be mine. And now, on the first day of their marriage, she's already trying to kick me out. You're just going to let her bully me? My mother-in-law started crying again. My father-in-law suddenly slapped me. You've really gone too far. You dare bully my daughter right in front of us? I already told you, nobody in this family can replace my daughter's place. Nobody. I turned around and slapped Li Xingliang. He grabbed his face and yelled, "Why are you hitting me? I didn't do anything to you." Your dad hit me, so you can take the consequences. If you don't like it, hit me back. Li Xingliang shut up. Li Shuying, however, was still furious. Hit her, Xiaoliang. What are you so afraid of? She's just some woman from out of town. Why are you scared to stand up to her? Li Xingliang finally snapped at her. Sis, this is literally the first day of my marriage. Can you stop? Are you only happy if I end up divorced? Li Shuying glared at him like she couldn't believe how spineless he was, then planted herself in the doorway of the main bedroom. I'm standing right here. Unless you step over me, you are never getting into my main bedroom. I never said I was going in there. I turned around and walked into the second bedroom. My in-laws had packed that room full too. This time I didn't even bother with trash bags. I just started tossing whatever I found out the window. We were on the first floor, so I wasn't worried about anything falling far. Clothes, shoes, bags, supplements, anything I could find belonging to the older couple went straight outside. The cleaning lady passing by the window looked absolutely delighted. You don't want any of this? Then I'll take it. Wow, these clothes are practically new, and this bedding set must have cost a few hundred yuan. I stared at my mother-in-law. What do you think I'm doing? I'm waiting for you to leave with your daughter. You're not welcome in my home. She rushed outside, argued with the cleaning lady, then started tossing everything I'd thrown out back in through the window. So I locked the window and started throwing things out through the door instead. My father-in-law's face turned red. Li Xingliang, are you really not going to control this woman? You're seriously doing nothing? Li Xingliang only half-heartedly tried to calm me down. Come on, honey. Throw a few things out if it helps you cool off, but don't stress yourself out while you're pregnant. Pregnant? Please. He couldn't seriously think I was still planning to keep this baby after all this. I quickly cleared out that guest room, then headed to the other one. This room was even worse. Li Shuying's son's clothes, toys, and books were scattered everywhere. The second I started clearing things again, Li Shuying grabbed a basketball and hurled it at me. Damn it, stop right now! I'm only holding back because you're pregnant! Don't think I can't take you! Yeah, right. I'd been trying to keep the peace because we were family, but she clearly wanted to walk all over me. Why should I keep taking it? I stormed into the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and pressed it to her neck. Li Shuying, you've caused enough trouble. If you know what's good for you, get out and take your son with you. That finally shut her up. She trembled all over. Don't do anything crazy. Seriously, calm down. Too late for calm. I pressed the knife closer, and her legs gave out. She dropped to her knees in front of me. Everyone froze. His mother was so shocked she closed her eyes and fainted on the spot. Li Xingliang and Li Shuying panicked and rushed her to the hospital. Before leaving, Li Shuying pointed at me and threatened, "If anything happens to my mom, you'll pay for it." At last, the apartment was quiet. After a full day of chaos, I finally had some peace. I leaned back on the couch, chills running down my spine. This was literally my first day of marriage, and they'd pushed me so far I'd pulled a knife, and the people who pushed me there were my own in-laws. The second I saw who they really were, I called a realtor to come evaluate the place. I also changed the door code immediately. Just as I was about to lie down and rest, someone started pounding on the door. Li Shuying screamed from outside, "Qinji, open the damn door! Did you change the code? Open up right now!" I refused. What were they going to do about it? Li Xingliang started banging too. "Honey, open the door. Mom woke up on the way there, but she's dizzy and feels awful. Let her in so she can rest." I answered through the door. "This is my home. If I say they can't stay here, they can't. Li Xingliang, take them and leave." His father slammed against the door too. "What nonsense! Xingliang put in 150,000 too. How can you say the place is yours alone?" I laughed. "Then ask Li Xingliang. The deed is in my name and my name only. So get out. All of you." Chaos broke out in the hallway, and eventually Li Shuying called a locksmith. He arrived fast, but the first thing he asked for was proof of ownership. The Li family just stared at him. "Why would we need ID to get into our own home?" "Then how do I know it's your home? I can't just open a door for anyone." Li Shuying was about to argue when I called through the door. "Sir, they're lying to you. You should go." The locksmith left grumbling, which only made the people outside even more furious. After more than an hour of arguing, Li Shuying called the police. By the time they arrived, it was almost midnight. This time, I opened the door, of course. Then, right in front of the officers, I showed everyone the property deed. There it was in black and white. Qinji, one name, mine. The entire Li family went speechless. Li Shuying was the worst. She stared at the deed over and over, blinking like the words might magically change, then grabbed Li Xingliang by the collar. "Explain this! What the hell is going on?" His father panicked too. "You put up 150,000 for the house. Why isn't your name on it?" Li Xingliang's face turned bright red. I... He opened his mouth over and over, but nothing came out, so I helped him. His 150,000 went to pay someone else's debt. He didn't put a single cent into this place. His father's eyes nearly popped out. "Debt? Xingliang, whose debt? You owed 150,000? Did someone scam you?" He didn't know anyone. Li Shuying did. I stared straight at her. "So who do you think he paid that money for? Go on, tell them." Li Shuying snapped back like she was the victim. "Oh, so this whole thing is about me? No wonder you wouldn't let me have the master bedroom and kept trying to kick me out. All over 150,000? Qinji, can you stop being so petty? It's only 150,000. He's my brother. What's wrong with him helping me out? I didn't take your money. Just because he married you doesn't mean you control every cent he earns." Of course he can control his own money. That's why when he said you were in serious trouble, I told him to use the money to help you. In return, he had to replace 100,000 himself, and the house went in my name only. Now, do you understand why this house belongs to me? They were losing it. Suddenly, his mother wasn't dizzy anymore, and her eyesight was just fine. She started pounding on Li Xingliang's chest. "How could you be this stupid? You agreed to that? If only her name is on the deed, it's her property. What are we supposed to do now? This woman has no heart. What are we supposed to do?" His father chain-smoked in panic. "We already sold our old place. Other than this apartment, we have nowhere to go. Where are we supposed to live?" They were completely falling apart, but I was thinking very clearly. I even had a suggestion for them. "Doesn't Li Shuying have a home? You gave her such a big dowry. It's only fair that you retire at her place. I'll call Chen Chang and have him come pick you up." Li Shuying lunged for my phone, but I'd already connected the call. I'd barely said, "Chen Chang," when a woman on the other end started yelling. "Li Shuying, seriously. Chen already blocked you, and now you're calling from another number in the middle of the night? What, you want the live audio from our bedroom? You've got some patience, I'll give you that. It's been years and Chen hasn't touched you once and you still won't divorce him? Honestly, I'm almost impressed." "Wang Su, you shameless little..." The call suddenly disconnected. Li Shuying's face turned scarlet. She swung at me. "Who gave you permission to call him?" "That did it. She completely lost it." The reason she insisted on staying with her parents wasn't because she loved being there, and it definitely wasn't because she was devoted to them. Her husband, Chen Qiang, had another woman and had wanted a divorce for a long time. He'd kicked her out of their marital home. With nowhere else to go, she'd moved back in with her parents. Before I married Li Xingliang, she lived with his parents in their old place. I assumed things would stay that way after the wedding, so I never worried about it. Instead, they sold the old place and planned to take over my marital home. Not a chance. I stood there with a broom and looked at all four of them. You see it now? You understand? Great. Can you leave? Of course they weren't going quietly. His mother dropped onto the living room floor and started wailing, slapping her thighs. "This is my home, my son's home, the Li family's home. I'm staying right here. If anyone tries to throw me out today, I'll make a scene you'll never forget." Once she started playing the helpless old lady card, even the police couldn't do much except keep trying to calm both sides. Li Shuying sat down beside her mother and joined the performance. You married my brother, so everything you own belongs to him, and that means it belongs to us too. Tomorrow morning, we're going to the property office and changing the deed." She looked at the master bedroom, then at her son's room, and finally acted like she was making some huge sacrifice. "Fine, I'll be generous. You can have my son's smaller bedroom. You should be grateful." Unbelievable. Even now, they were still making demands like they owned the place. I grabbed the mop, swirled it in the toilet, then shoved it right into Li Shuying's mouth. "Still dreaming about taking my house? Li Shuying, want a taste of what you're talking?" She gagged, clutched her chest, and yanked the mop away. "Qinji, that's disgusting!" "You shoved a toilet mop in my mouth." I sneered. With a mouth that nasty, I figured it needed a deep clean. His father, who'd been silently smoking the whole time, suddenly slammed the table. "This is outrageous! Li Xingliang, pin her down on the table. If I don't teach her a lesson today, she'll never learn where the line is." Li Xingliang rubbed his hands nervously. "Honey, why don't you just apologize? They're my closest family. Is it really that unreasonable for them to live with us? Can't you be a little more understanding?" "No," I slapped him across the face. "If they'd shown me even a little respect today, if they'd left me one small room and a bed to sleep on, I wouldn't be this hurt. Li Xingliang, I moved all this way to marry you, not to be treated like trash. We're getting divorced. Tomorrow, and you can leave too. This place has nothing to do with you." His father flicked away his cigarette and roared, "Everyone in the Li family, listen up. There are 4 of us and 1 of her. Are we really going to let her boss us around? Tie her up. Let's see how tough she acts then." Li Shuying was the first to grab a rope. His mother looked ready to jump in too. Only Li Xingliang spoke quietly, like he was just going through the motions. "Dad, don't. Let me talk to her. She's pregnant. She's carrying a child from our family. We can't get physical with her." "Enough with that." His father walked toward me step by step with the rope. "A woman like this only understands consequences. Scare her badly enough a few times and she'll behave. You know the old saying, let someone get away with too much and they'll walk all over you. Xingliang, watch carefully. I'll show you how to deal with her." He kept coming. I backed up 1 step at a time until I reached the window and had nowhere left to go. Li Shuying smirked like she'd already won. "You moved miles away from home and still think you can run this house? You're finished. No, you're the ones asking for trouble." The front door flew open. My older brother stormed in and knocked Li Shuying several feet back. "You bully my sister and think you'll get away with it. Think again." He grabbed Li Shuying by the hair and slapped her repeatedly. "My sister moved all this way to marry into your family. Did you think she had nobody back home? You thought being far from her family meant you could treat her however you wanted? What a joke." My brother hit Li Shuying so hard she could barely stand. Her lip was bleeding before he finally shoved her to the floor. She held her head and screamed, "Xingliang, he's Qinji's brother! He hit me! You have to hit him back or I'll never call you my brother again!" His mother hugged Li Shuying and yelled, "He's a savage! How dare he come into our home and hit my daughter?" My mom had come in behind my brother. She immediately slapped the older woman across the face. "Your daughter is too precious to be hit, but mine can be treated however you want? Who do you think you are? And you keep bragging about raising daughters well. Do you even know what that means? Throwing money at a child isn't good parenting. Her attitude is exactly what you raised her to have." When his father saw his wife get slapped, he exploded. But before he could even lift his hand, my brother stared him down. "Still want to swing? Want to find out whose punch is harder?" The old man lowered his hand, scared, but he still wouldn't stop talking. "Qinji married my son, so she belongs to my son. She's part of the Li family now. If we want to scold her, that's our business. Stay out of it." "She's a Li now, not one of you Qins anymore." My brother finally snapped and punched him. "Don't hide behind your age and act untouchable. I won't just stand here and watch." His nose started bleeding. Li Xingliang finally protested. "Bro, that's my dad. You're younger than him. No matter how angry you are, you can't hit him." "Fine." My brother turned around and punched Li Xingliang instead. "I won't hit the old man. You're fair game, right? Li Xingliang, you're useless. You couldn't even afford a marital home. Couldn't even make sure your wife had a room and you still thought you were ready to get married." Li Xingliang got beaten badly, and Li Shuying immediately started arguing again. "What do you mean he couldn't afford a marital home? This is the marital home. Qinji is just greedy and insists on taking the master bedroom. Why should an outsider get the best room in a Li family home? Tell me, why?" My mom answered with another clean slap. "You still don't get it? It's 1 bedroom. You think my daughter is desperate for it? Tomorrow she'll sell this place and come home with me to live in her own bigger house." My mom glared at Li Shuying. "Didn't you say her family gave her no support? Didn't you say if she wanted a bigger place, she should go cry to her mother?" While she spoke, my mom pulled a property deed from her bag and tossed it down. "Take a good look. I didn't just give my daughter $68,000 as her wedding gift. I bought her an entire house long ago. The whole place is hers. Master bedroom, guest room, study. She can sleep wherever she wants and nobody gets to fight her for a room." Li Shuying refused to believe it. "You're lying. A family that only gave $68,000 as dowry somehow bought her a house? No way! Why not? You think your family is the only one that takes care of daughters? In our family, every child is treated fairly. Every one of them gets a home." And why was her wedding gift only $68,000? Because your family only gave $30,000 as bride price. You said my daughter had no backing? Tell me again, who has no backing, your brother or my daughter? Li Shuying went silent. So did everyone else. Everyone except Li Xingliang. He dropped to his knees in front of me. Honey, it's over now. What's done is done. You hit them, you yelled at them. I'll book a nice hotel for your mom and brother. My parents are exhausted too. Everyone can rest. Great, we're all tired. So take your family and get out. They panicked. We're not leaving. This is the Li family's home. We can't leave. You're leaving whether you like it or not. If you stay, where are my mom and brother supposed to sleep? Now go. My brother picked up a chair and swung it toward them. They all scrambled out into the hallway. Good, the home was finally mine again. But of course they weren't going to let it go. Every day they came back to yell and make a scene. They called property management, the police, even community workers. Eventually everyone gave them the same answer. Hire a lawyer and take it to court. I stopped wasting energy on them and dragged Li Xingliang straight to the civil affairs office to file for divorce. Li Shuying grabbed his arm. Don't sign! Xingliang, you absolutely cannot sign! We get the house first, then you divorce her. Otherwise, where are all of us supposed to live? I don't even have a house. How am I supposed to fight Chen Qiang for custody of my son? What a joke. My house, my name on the deed. What possible claim did they have? None. His mother changed tactics. Qinji, you're pregnant. If you divorce, what happens to the baby? Can you really raise a child alone? Even if you remarry, will another man treat the child as well as Xingliang would? I gently touched my stomach. The pregnancy ended a few days ago. She nearly fainted from shock. His father pointed at me with a shaking hand. You're heartless, absolutely heartless. Heartless? You're the one who said I couldn't use a baby to pressure you. You're the one who said you didn't care about this child because you already had Chen Chen. So why am I suddenly the cruel one? When Li Xingliang heard there was no baby anymore, he almost collapsed. My brother made sure he signed the papers. That same day, I sold the apartment and got on a plane. When Li Shuying and the others came back to cause trouble again, the new owner chased them off. They really had nowhere to go. Li Xingliang paid for 2 nights in a hotel, then decided it was too expensive and told them to rent. Anything decent cost too much, and anything cheap wasn't good enough for them. Li Shuying didn't have a cent to her name, and creditors were even chasing her. With nowhere else left, they went to the home she had shared with Chen Qiang. His parents blocked Chen Qiang's door. We paid $360,000 toward this house. We have a stake in it, so we have the right to live here. Exactly. We raised our daughter for decades. Now it's your turn to support us. You have a responsibility. They thought Chen Qiang would at least be polite because they'd helped pay for the place. He didn't even come to the door. The woman living there with him simply dumped a basin of dirty foot-washing water over them. Li Shuying lost it. Chen Qiang pushed for divorce and she demanded the $360,000 dowry back, but he'd already spent every cent. She lost the house, her home, her marriage, her husband, and in the end, she didn't even get custody of her son. The 4 members of the Li family squeezed into a tiny 50-square-meter rental and spent every day blaming one another. Eventually, Li Shuying snapped at Li Xingliang. You couldn't even marry a woman who brought a few $100,000 in dowry. That made Li Xingliang even angrier. Ginger brought an entire house as her dowry, and you were the ones who drove her away. This is your fault, all of yours. They finally exploded into a huge fight. Li Shuying slapped Li Xingliang, and he shoved her down the stairs. The 2 older parents tried to break it up and ended up falling too. Both were badly injured, and Li Xingliang ran. Li Shuying took a knife and went looking for Chen Qiang. Somehow, in the chaos, she ended up fatally injuring herself. Not long after, police caught Li Xingliang on the street. He was in the middle of a robbery. By the time I heard all of this, I was stretched out on the big bed in my master bedroom, soaking up the sunshine. Every toxic person from that chapter of my life was finally gone.